There's times in your life when things are going to happen that you've got to begin to put your dream on hold. And you might have to reinvent yourself. It's called life. And don't tell everybody about it. 80% don't care and 20% glad it's you. You have to suck it up and handle it. That's what it's called being in business. Being an entrepreneur, being a risk taker, walking by faith and not by sight. Stuff happens to you. And so I had to go in a new direction. How many of you, like me, had periods in your life when you were temporarily insane? See, there's some people, one of the goals I have is training 100,000 voices of hope outside of politics and outside of religion, both of which I believe unwittingly polarize and divide people, and teach people how to deliver a message of hope and give people methods and techniques that will help them to change their lives and begin to move their lives to another level. You have something special. You have greatness within you. That story that you have can impact people's lives. Mike Williams talked to me and it changed my life. It began to expand my vision. That's in your future. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, that's in my future. That's in my future. Everybody point at me right now. Point at me right now. Point at me lovingly right now. Say, Les Brown. Everybody together say, Les Brown. If you can do it, I can do it. And this time when you say, I can do it, say it with conviction. Point at me again. Les Brown. If you can do it, I can do it. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I'm ready to play a bigger game. Do that right now. Say, I'm ready to play a bigger game.
If you chase your passion, if you listen to me, I know what I was born to do. If you told me right now, how can you fill $5 million, ET, but you can never do another TGIM. You can never go into another school. You can never go to another college. You can never motivate anybody for the rest of your life. No more motivation, no more inspiration. I would tell you, keep your $5 million. Why? Because this is what I was born to do. And what I've discovered, that you got to pass up on good to get to great.
And one day, you're going to be in a nursing home. And the biggest thing that you're going to hope for is that there's someone standing right there beside you. So when you're on your deathbed, how will your legacy ripple? Are you going to make a big splash? Or are you going to be a tiny little pebble in the pond? How many people will show up to that funeral of yours? How many people did you positively impact that your time expiring will make them cry because you're not here anymore to have an effect on them? I want you to place yourself in the eyes of death, because death is going to set you free. How are you going to leave this earth? Will you be remembered? How will you be remembered? Your life is not done yet. So now is the time to go after everything you want. Time will expire one day. So you gotta beat the clock.
People in my life right now, are they contributing to my growth and development? Are they making me a better person? What I'm doing right now, is it nourishing me? Does it empower me? Is it giving me what I need out of my life right now? Is it challenging to me? Is it making me stretch mentally and emotionally and spiritually? Is it getting the best out of me? See, this is the only life you've got. So you don't want to squander it doing something you don't want to do, feeling you can't do any better. You can do better. You should do better. You deserve to do better. You're entitled to that. That is your right to do better.
As John F. Kennedy said, there are risks and costs to a program of action, but they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. There's just something about the status quo that is literally intoxicating. You don't want to move. You don't want to put things at risk. You want to keep things as they are. And I get it. Change is scary. Change may be one of the single most paralyzing elements that we as humans face. That in your space, in that little area that you've carved out for yourself, it may be small and it may keep you less than you could be, but God damn it, does it feel Good. Because it's safe. Because you know your enemies. You know where everything is at. You know all the things that you need to know to feel comfortable. But in that comfort is a world that shrinks around you, is a world that literally is forcing you to confine yourself to the size of that box. It's making you only as big as the space that you've allowed yourself. So whatever change you refuse to embrace, not only does it freeze you in time, but it stunts your growth. And if you want to become something, that is literally the act of changing. It is literally the act of rebirth, of making yourself something new. But in that, you must face the terror of change. You must face that you may fail. You must face that you may embarrass yourself. You have to face that in the unknown could be the worst. But unless you're able to do that, you'll never get to taste the vastness of living outside the box, that merely having a life that isn't confined is in and of itself far more interesting and beautiful than anything could ever be when it is locked in one place. When you have a box that has no windows, your world can be nothing but a wall. But when you have a window, when you have a door, that becomes an entryway into something completely new. And as Pablo Picasso said, action is the fundamental key to all success. So if you want to succeed, if you want something more for your life, you have to be willing to walk through that door. And if you're in a box that has no door, then you've got to be willing to kick one open. You've got to be willing to claw through feet of concrete if that's what it takes to get on the other side. But you've got to be willing to push yourself out of that comfort zone to find out what could be, to take control of your destiny and realize the fundamental human truth. Only you control what you can be. And if you want to escape, the one thing you need is belief. And as Phil Knight said, belief is irresistible. Once you believe that you can act in accordance with something that will actually help move you forward, once you believe to the core of your being that there is no one better suited to building the life of your dreams than you, then suddenly safety becomes the least safe thing that you could do. Suddenly, being in a space that is so narrowly defined is the only thing that's going to choke the life out of you. So the only real risk is not to have faith in yourself. The only real risk is to stay put. The only real risk is to play it safe. So my friends, find that belief in yourself. Take that risk. Act, move, do something, define a new life, build a new you. That's the key to success.
I'm particularly proud and happy about the young filmmakers, actors, singers, writers, producers that are coming up behind my generation. In particular, Barry Jenkins. Young people understand this young man made 10, 15, 20 short films before he got the opportunity to make Moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, P. Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So, keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So, keep moving, keep growing, keep learning.